Return to Old Trafford as we see Week 5 kick off with Manchester United playing host to Bayern Munich. A couple teams going in opposite directions in the table. Manchester United finally working their way up a little bit. 6 points out of their last 2 games with wins over Arsenal and a huge 4-0 win over Club America last week. They're hoping to continue to pile on to a Bayern Munich squad that has not gotten a single point in the table since Week 1, also against America. Now, Man U, even though they put up 4 against America, in their other 4 games of the season have only totaled 3 goals. For a team that has so much attacking firepower, that's just not going to cut it, as they run with the same lineup that they've been running all season long. Pollock in the middle next to Lupatelli, Roker and Navarro on the outside. Same players we've seen all season long. Bayern Munich, on the other hand, have made changes to their lineup, getting guys into their more natural positions and really strengthening that middle by including guys that for some reason had not seen any playtime this season in Moussa Tete and Joshua Bawua. Inside Jimmy Hagland and Andreas Castillo, who have both been very, very solid players this season. See Prodon, Yujin Q, and Marcano, with Navarro and Gavilan getting their starts up top out on the wings as opposed to from the midfield.
Enjoy the game.
Now, as much as Manchester United has been a little bit of a disappointment this season, they have showed sparks in the last couple of games that maybe this road is getting back on track, whereas Bayern Munich have, even though they've been dropping points, they've looked much more complete in those games, putting up 2 goals against Arsenal in the 4-2 loss. Not able to put anything together really against Inter last week, but they didn't look as out of it as some other teams, as Marcano picks off the ball. And already we see Gavilan get involved in the play, which is something he hasn't done recently. Shot misses target by a wide margin, but we see what manager for Bayern Munich, Zidan Escobar, may be looking for, with more attacks up the wing, free up Chigon Akbalnahar for something in the middle so he can go one-on-one with a Man U center back core that has looked pedestrian at times. Great run from Sabitzer as he takes on the entirety of Bayern Munich before giving it off to Yexov for a shot that a little bit ill-advised. Outside the box, has the back of Bawua if he just takes that onto his left foot. And from a guy who's leading his team in goals, you expect better. A nice jump by Prodon over top of Ute Pollock, trying to collect a slide tackle. Already we're seeing ball movement from both teams that is much, much better than it was early in the season, as Navarro overleads his man, sending it out for a goal kick for Bayern. But that midfield core of Yujin Q getting a chance to step forward a little bit, Mircea Prodon getting a chance to move forward and play more of a forward midfield role as opposed to center back, paired up with Marcano. It's still a defensive lineup coming out of Bayern, but your midfield is going to have a little bit more opportunity to create. Gavilan's already gotten involved in the play. Haven't seen anything out of Manuel Navarro on that left wing yet, but he is more than serviceable. And good one-on-one play from Gavilan. Getting Bayern up on an odd man rush. Takes it himself. Save from Will Castano. Recollected, and Chigon Agbanlahor cannot put that one in the back of the net. Looks like the flag might have gone up for offsides. Now, a guy that's been really impressive the last couple of weeks for Bayern, Jimmy Haglund, starting at left back, has not only tracked back and followed his defensive duties with outstanding skill, but he's gotten forward and he's been the real presence on that left side, creating from the wing. As Navarro gets some space, fakes the cross, decides to pull back to Lennon. And Joshua Bawua, one of the largest men in the league, standing at 6'7". Again, I question why he hasn't gotten to see the pitch at all this season. Because not only is he a massive body in the center of that defense, he has the skill and defensive prowess to go along with someone that you need to respect back there. Through ball to Prodan. Nice cross over to Agbanlahor for Bayern's first goal. And we see the weakness that Man U looked like they'd shored up the last couple of weeks. It's right there. It's back again, rearing its ugly head. They get beat between the center back and the fullback. It looks like Ute Pollock is out of position a little bit, marking the wrong guy. Leaves Simone Lupatelli off his line, and Agbanlahor just finds the open space. Roker can't quite get to him. Nice 1-2 play from the team. Something that's gone a little bit unnoticed so far this season. Chigon Agbanlahor right toward the top of the league in goals scored for an individual player. And now he hasn't done it in a high-profile way quite like Jack Flatch. His team comes into today second bottom in the table. He hasn't had the flashy goals like Sergei Rudenko. He hasn't overpowered a defender and just blown by a gap and done impressive runs quite like Hector Saunders, but regardless, he is right there with every single one of those guys as far as goals this season. Look from Marcano, a little bit too long. So far, as we get toward the end of this first half, Man U have gotten forward a little bit as Jimmy Haglund takes the ball off and goes up that left wing. But Man U, they seem to be regressing back into that passive style of play that they had the first couple games. Didn't serve them well at all. They weren't able to create shots. We see the ref give a delayed free kick here. If they're going to equalize this game or even have a chance at winning, they're going to need to get forward with some aggression and make Bayern have to play defense. Kagawa gets up into space by himself. There's not much of a Bayern defense getting caught on the counter. As Moussa Tete, a guy, again, with Joshua Bawua seeing his first action of the season, gets back, makes a smart play, doesn't foul inside the box. Able to save his team from a real threat as we come to the end of the half. Prodan with a nice little bit of footwork. Slides by Roker. Eventually Roker gets the win, sending us into halftime, but Bayern have been the aggressors. And as of right now, it's only a 1-goal lead. Not like it's something insurmountable. But Ciganak Bandahor has all season been the guy who finds the space, does what he needs to do, and creates positive things for his squad. Even if everything else is falling apart, he's a bright spot. But keys for the second half for me is Bayern can't let off the pressure. They're doing a great job so far of getting it out to the wing. Gavilan has gotten involved in a couple of plays. Haven't seen Navarro do much of anything yet. Could be a possible sub that we see in the second half if he doesn't improve. But as of right now, their ability to defend and get forward quickly is what's winning them this game. Joshua Bawua, Moussa Tete, Jimmy Hagland, Andreas Castillo are holding their line very well. Not allowing runs in behind from Yeksov and Lenin. And they're making the most of opportunities presented to them. Whereas we're seeing the marking from Ute Pollock again. In the first couple games of the season, he got beat, or decisions he was making were pulling his teammates out of position and allowing them to get beat. And we saw it again on the Ciganak Bandahor goal. Nice bit of forward play from both teams going back and forth. But again, once we saw it get into the final third, Bayern clamped down and killed the run. Ball played out to Hagland, who finds a nice over-the-top ball to Navarro. And it looks like the official is going to call a handball inside the box on Simone Lupitelli. Sure enough, that ball comes directly off his hand. We're going to see a penalty for Bayern. And you already know who's stepping to the spot. It's Ciganak Bandahor, facing off one-on-one with Will Castano. And that's a bit of class coming out of the man who wears the captain's armband for the Bavarian outfit. Little chip shot. Castano, frozen in place, doesn't move as he just watches the ball slow roll by him on that left side. It's his second of the day. We've only seen one hat trick in the league so far this season. That was from Jack Flatch all the way back in week 1. Had an absolute coming out party as his Arsenal team beat Inter pretty soundly, and that's still Inter's only loss of the season. This game today is likely going to be one that shapes 4th and 5th plays. As of right now, it looks like Bayern have decided, no, we do not want to be second bottom of the table. But a couple other games today, as well as the games next week, will shape who our top of the table winner is. Another game going on this week, Inter Milan versus Barcelona, has the potential to see Barcelona go through and actually clinch first place in the league with a win. Or, with a loss, they would need a guaranteed win next week, or possibly a draw would be enough for them to take the title in the final week of the season. For now, though, they need to defend this Manchester United rush. Lucas Sabitzer, nice pullback. Joshua Bawu, that brick walls. Rene Peterson dives across, making a wonderful save with that left arm. First subs of the game, the Robin Manolay for Lucas Sabitzer sub that we've seen every week. Agbonlahor gets pulled off for Steven Warzicha before he has a chance to get his hat trick, but solid outing from the captain. And Mircea Prodan sees his day come to an end as well. Not a bad outing, but nothing terribly outstanding. Jose Boquero will get his chance. And just a little fun fact for everyone out there. Teams that have played at least one African player in their back line this season have only given up a singular goal. With the inclusion of Ibrahim Zakaria of Inter, we're seeing it from Tete and Bahua today from Bayern. There's something down there since the wildfires and teams allowing their players to head down as we see a final substitution for Bayern. Since that occurrence, we've seen those players locked, loaded, and ready to go after getting to take care of their people at home. Well cut out by Griffin Lennon. And this is that passive play that we saw out of Manchester United the first couple games of the season. Lennon had an opportunity to make a deep run with not a lot of defense. Pulled back, and we saw 7 Bayern Munich players roll back between him and the goal. Jimmy Haglund launches one forward way too far as Castano comes out for it. But we're not seeing the aggression out of Manchester United today. Good ball forward to Baquero. Warzicha. And as much as America has been a driving force in goal scoring this season across the league, we see one American deny another as Steven Warzicha launches one. Will Castano diving and making sure that it doesn't end up in the back of his net. Looks like another Manchester United sub as we're going to see Kagawa come off for Dominic McNulty. McNulty has been great off the bench. You have to wonder. Last game of the season coming up. Will McNulty finally get a start? Will we see a change in this Manchester United lineup that has netted 6 points, but as of right now will sit 5th in the table? Jimmy Haglund up that left wing. Pulling back. Smart decision. And that's something not a lot of teams have, is a left back that can get forward, make the intelligent play, doesn't turn the ball over really. Final substitution coming out for Manchester United. Dennis Yaxov coming off. Islam Murray making his appearance. And Pollock with a pass, I'm not sure what that was designed for, but going about 15 rows up probably wasn't it. So we come into the final 10 minutes of today's game. It's not perfectly in hand yet, but the way Bayern have played today, it looks like they're going to go ahead and take the 3 points. Next week, we'll see them take on Barcelona, who could potentially be our league champion already come that time. Or they could be fighting for that. A lot would have to go wrong for them to lose the league, but a loss to Bayern next week in their second matchup could be one of those factors. And we'll see Manchester United take on Arsenal for their second leg of a rivalry week. Ute Pollock getting forward, finding a nice dump off to Navarro, who can't put the shot on target. But I think that play right there it's evidence as to why Pollock should be playing forward, not in the back. He can make runs. He has good decision making. And given the opportunity in a space like Navarro just had it, I have a good feeling that Pollock puts that on net and possibly in the back of it. But we see one team that had a win in their rivalry week last time. We see another team that unfortunately wasn't able to come away with 3 points in their rivalry week game. Both of them could be in very important games coming up. With Arsenal having dropped their last two, unless something happens with Barcelona where they drop their game this week against Inter Milan and drop their rivalry week game against Bayern Munich, they're out of title contention, unfortunately. They're still in the hunt for second and third place. It's all a matter of can they end up beating Manchester United in their second matchup. A little bit of a weak cross into the middle, and Emigdio Fuentes, a guy that he's got everything you want out of a central midfielder. He's got a great head on his shoulders, amazing skill. He can finish, can track back and play some defense. We just haven't talked about him at all this season. He's been a non-factor. A guy that maybe next season looking for new opportunity, maybe looking to revive himself a little bit because this season has been poor from the Manchester United captain. Rosic able to turn. Robin Manillet, great step across. Possibly saves a goal, and we see Bayern Munich come away with a 2-0 victory. Gain a little bit of momentum, get their first point since week 1 going into the last week of the season. And I think today it was about comfort. Gianna Bondahor able to play exactly where he wanted to. Had a couple of guys on the wings that were true wingers instead of maybe getting a little bit over aggressive on strikers and forcing them onto a field in a position that they're just not comfortable with. Good ball movement through the middle. We saw a lot from Mircea Prodan, where you can tell where his vision is after having given up the own goal a couple weeks ago. And just a wonderful performance from that back line. Guys getting forward. Andres Castillo, Jimmy Hagland up that left side. Boua was a brick wall and never gave anyone a comfortable shot. Moussa Tete, same type of deal. But really, the thing that stands out for me was we're seeing the marking for Manchester United being the problem again, where one guy marking the wrong guy, and it's causing rotations to get shifted, and they're getting beat because of that. It's exactly what caused his first goal here. Yeah, we saw it happen earlier on in the season, where it looks like Ute Pollock usually is the culprit. He loses track of where he's supposed to be, who he's supposed to be on, causes Lupatelli to overextend, causes Florian Roker to have to slide inside a little bit deeper than maybe he would like, and almost every single time you see a guy on the backside just slide right into the gap that they're leaving and put something on net in the back of the net. Will Castano had a couple of pretty decent saves today, but today was the outlier. This season has not been great for this Manchester United team, who finds himself in 5th place in the table. Far cry from where I thought they might be up toward the top of it at the beginning of the season. But 2-0. Bayern next week take on Barcelona, and Manchester United versus Arsenal. Hope to see you then.